Hi, I'm so happy that you're here to join me. Today's card is going to be a layout that is super fun, it's quick, and it's easy. I am using the Darling Dinos stamp set in the card I'm going to make to share with you. However, this layout is so fantastic for any stamps that you have at home, any papers, any colors that you want to use. It's amazingly versatile. So I'm really excited to share it with you. The layout has you covered with all sorts of details, and I also have a free downloadable PDF that you can use. It's on my blog, so please be sure you check out the link down in the description because the PDF is there for you. There's a template and everything you need step by step to recreate this layout on your own. So you can print it out or keep it on your computer in a file if that's what you do. That's what I do with mine. My name is Julia, and I'm with Julia Sue's Stamping. I'm passionate about stamping, coloring, paper crafts, making cards. Most of all, I'm passionate about sharing the fun of doing all of that with you. So that's what I want to do today, is share some fun paper crafting. Please be sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any other lives or videos that I have to give you a little bit of crafting inspiration. Are you ready to get started? All right, let's go. I'll shift the camera down to the work surface, and like I said, I'm using the Darling Dinos stamp set today. Now, if you're a member of my stamping team, or you placed an order with me in July, then you've received all the make and take supplies for today's live. Like I said, I'm using the Darling Dinos stamp set today, and you can use whatever you have on hand, as well as different colors and different inks and all the things. So thank you for hopping on, and any hellos are so fantastic. I appreciate it very, very much. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I have my silicone sheet here, craft sheet, because photopolymer stamps tend to not have any rubber, and I like to have a little bit of a give to help the stamp just stamp a little bit better. When you have placed an order with me or you're on my team, like I said, I send the make and takes, and they will come in an envelope like this, and in here are all the supplies needed for today's card. I'm going to start off with the base of the card, which is your typical base, and it's with a thick white cardstock today. So going ahead and folding that over on the score line, and now the base is ready to go. Now the smallest piece of basic white that is in the packet. Now remember, all the measurements and everything are on the PDF that I have for you, but there are two pieces of the basic white that are in there because we're doing a clean and simple card today, and you want to grab the smallest one. Let's see if I've got the different sizes here. Well, like I said, it's going to be on, this is, I think it's 4.5 by 3.25, but I'm not for sure. It is on that PDF. So please be sure you check it out. And from the Darling Dinos, I took this little flower. That's one of the things I love about that stamp set. It has things that you just don't even think are going to be able to use for other cards. It just seems like it's going to be a little kitty card kind of a stamp set, but it's not, because it has flowers, it has other things in it that are super cool. So I'm taking early espresso ink, and I'm just inking up that stamp, and I'm going to take the flower and stamp it once and then twice. And the nice thing about photopolymer is you can see where you're stamping, and then a third one just in a row like that. Now I'm going to use some Stampin' Blends and get a little coloring in. I love coloring, it's one of my favorite things. I've got Granny Apple Green, some Daffodil Delight, and Darling Duckling. So I'm going to start, I think, with the Darling Duckling. I'm going to use the lighter shade and get the flowers all colored in. So just a real quick coloring with this, with the beautiful Darling Duckling on the petals of the flowers. Getting all those in. And what's your favorite way to color? Do you prefer to color, I'm going to grab the Daffodil Delight with blends, or do you like using watercoloring? We all have different ways we like to do things, and what's great about this layout is you can actually just stamp the images if you want. You do not have to color them in, or you can color them in with an ink pad instead, which is what I did on one of the examples I'll show you. And coloring right down the stem of the flower. Okay, I'm going to take the darker. Every single time I'm done with these, I make sure I close them up real tightly so that the alcohol marker doesn't dry out. I think it's really important to do that. Yes, bring on the markers. It is so much fun to color. All right. And a little bit of detail in here. And I think I'll be all done with this. Such a simple, fun, and yet really pretty card. Okay, so done with the alcohol markers. Gonna move those off. And guess what? Well, I have a sentiment to stamp yet. So before I move that, how about if I stamp that sentiment super quickly? I'm looking for my little sentiment piece. All right, I cut one to be 1 7/8 inch by 1/2 inch because that's what's going to fit my tiny little sentiment that I have from that stamp set that says, "You're the best." But you may need to change the size of yours. Watercolor pencils are a really great way to color. That's a way a lot of people like to color. And now we're going to go ahead and lay this right down. Stamping that sentiment. Perfect. It turned out really well. So you're the best. Closing up that ink. And now I'm going to go ahead and move the silicone sheet because I'm done. All right, so a little piece of the basic white that is just an 1/8 inch bigger all around. I'm going to adhere this. And today I think I'm going to use the glue. So you use whatever adhesive you tend to like. I'm using the glue though because this is really tight. And I want to have just a moment to move it around. And you can't see it as well because it's white on white. White on white is an absolutely gorgeous card technique. It really looks classy and it's so easy. And you can do that with other colors too. Use the other colors for your base and use the other colors for all the different parts. Now I'm going to take some dimensionals and put them behind that matted item that is behind the art piece. I always call it an art piece when I have done a little art on it. So to me, that piece that got stamped is the art piece. And now with the dimensionals behind those, I'm going to set them right on the card base. Isn't that pretty? It's clean, it's simple, but looks gorgeous. Inside the card, I'm simply going to put a little bit of Darling Duckling And just to make it easy, because I already have the glue out, I'm going to take the glue and use that on this one. Whether you like the tape, which tends to be my go-to, or the glue, we get all these pieces down. If you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love to be your creative cheerleader. Here we go. Get that. Now, you can also stamp inside if you wanted to, or if you were using designer series paper out here at all, you could put a little strip of designer series paper inside too. That's a nice way to make it look fancy. Now, in the packets that I sent out to people, and you'll see in the PDF tutorial, I suggest using about 21 inches or so of linen thread or baker's twine. So I'm going to do a double bow, and all I did was double up that linen thread is what I have here, or you would double up your baker's twine and then make a bow out of it like that. So simple. Now I'm going to cut off the ends, grabbing my scissors, cutting them off. Not the scissors, the ends. All right, now simply using a glue dot, I'm going to take one of the glue dots off. And this is the only time I would really suggest using your fingers, because a lot of times I use my take your pick tool to get glue dots off. But I kind of roll it between my fingers and I put it behind, and now I'm going to adhere that to my sentiment on the back side of it, because I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to use dimensionals on the two ends here and then place it on the card. See how that will work? So you can either use a whole dimensional on here depending on how big, or you can cut it in half if you need to, if you've got a really skinny sentiment piece. I've got a pretty skinny one here, but I still was able with that 1/2 inch width to get the dimensionals all the way on. All right, there. Now I'm going to lay it down right over the base of those little flowers. All right, that is the card. How easy is this? This layout is fantastic, and it's great to have in your tool belt for when you want a really quick, elegant looking card to send out. How fun is that? And of course I have some other variations. So I've got this one, instead of 3 items in a row, I just did the 2 birds from the Feathered Fun. So I stamped them in a Cajun craze, and instead of a white behind the layer, I have Cajun craze. And then inside, same thing. How fun is that? Exact same layout. I used the sentiment, the same sentiment, and changed it up like that. But wait, there's more. Of course. All right, so this one I used the Boho Vibes designer series paper and cut a big enough piece to cover our card front. And then I used 3 of the pieces of foliage from the Sunshine Vibes stamp set. So it doesn't have to be teeny tiny and just go in the corner. It can go across or wherever you want, but the 3 is pleasing to the eye. And then I had some Mossy Meadow twine and put that behind the thanks. And inside, I was able to carry out the theme with a little bit of the designer series paper. So it ties it all together. How cool is that? I really hope you're feeling inspired to try this layout with your very own twists. And remember, it's super adaptable for whatever stamps or paper you are loving right now. Next month, we're going to be using the Silly Safari stamp set. And you can register right now to receive everything that you need. This includes all the make and take supplies and a PDF tutorial that's going to have 8 cards in it. 4 of them will be done with the Paper Party Lives throughout the month, and you get 4 extras using that stamp set. But of course, I always show other variations, so if you don't have that stamp set, it's okay. Everything is available right now on my website, so go ahead, think about registering, and it would be fantastic to see you. You could also earn the class with an order of $50 or more. So how cool is that? So remember, there's a free PDF tutorial for you on my blog of this class, and I want you to go over there, check it out, grab it, and keep it for your very own. I hope you have fun today. I did. Please leave a comment and let me know what colors you're going to use or what stamp set you think would be great for this. I'd love to hear. It inspires me when you come up with these ideas or you show me what you ended up creating. It's super cool and really nice to see what you have done. So, do you have any questions or comments? If you do, I would love to help you out. Until next time, keep crafting, and I hope you have a chance to get inky. All right, bye-bye.